pleasure to be with you this morning. Many things to discuss, including we are not surprised that Black lives don't matter in Louisville or in Kentucky, but do they matter anywhere in this country? And also what you can do to change the system, all coming up on the Nathan Ivey Show, Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the Black community. Hey, good morning to you, Choppers. Hey, listen, do me a favor. Please take a second and like and share today's content so that more people can be baptized with the glow of flow. And we'll get started in just a couple of minutes.
The Nathan Ivey Show. Get ready to be engaged. Get ready to be informed. Get ready to be a lion. Get ready to be enraged by the man City Beat magazine called a talk radio rebel. And your host. Now back to the show.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nathan Ivey with you. One man, one microphone, one mission. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. Of course, I was not with you yesterday. I'll talk about it here, kick things off. We had a death in the family. I'll give you the details as much as I feel is necessary to share with you. Hey, good morning to you. Many things to discuss. Of course, within the last 24 hours, we got the decision that we were all looking for. And I don't know about you, but I don't think that anyone is surprised. At least nobody Black is surprised. And what we found out is that Black lives don't matter in Kentucky. But do they matter anywhere in the country? Also, I want to share with you folks what you can do to change the system, whether you're in Louisville or Cincinnati or Dayton or Minneapolis or Ferguson, Missouri, what you can do to change the system, because you are not powerless. You are powerful. But I want to give you some things, at least the way I see it. And I want to get your thoughts this morning about the decision to not charge two of the officers, Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly and Officer Miles Cosgrove. There were three officers that could have been charged. One was charged, and I'll give you the details on that. And two other officers, as you can see with today's cover art, was not charged. We'll get the show started in 1 minute, but I want to give you some time to like, and in particular, share today's show. And if you see there's a particular Facebook group where someone's already shared it, it don't matter. Please share it again, because it sends the message that this show is popular, that people are listening to it, and it will attract more eyes. Again, more people who see this show when you share it. So please share the show this morning, family, if you like the content that I'm delivering. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, the last honest place in Cincinnati media. And we'll get started in 1 minute.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
This is Zoe Wesson. What side of history do you want to be on? The right side, or one where black people continue to be underrepresented in Hamilton County? Now's your chance to end 230 years of exclusion. In Charlie Winburn, we have a man that's received the Cincinnati NAACP President's Award, who fought on the Ohio Civil Rights Commission for 6 years, who received the Baptist Ministers Conference Community Service Award. Charlie Winburn has received the Southern Christian Leadership Conference Award and was honored by WDBZ The Buzz as Pastor of the Month. We know Charlie Winburn, and he knows us. He's the right man to put us on the right side of history. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
You're listening to The Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
All right, good morning, family. We're living in amazing times. We are living in what I call the last days of common sense, but I'm your tour guide of sorts, and we'll navigate these uncharted waters together. Good morning to you, and welcome back to the Nathan Ivey Show. Hey, there I am. Hey, how are you? Hey, listen, I want to say, first up, thank you to all the well-wishers, man. A lot of folks had a lot of great things to say. I posted yesterday that, we lost somebody very close to us, a family member. In actuality, it was a very, very close personal family friend, which is just like family. I mean, I talk to you more than I talk to people in my own family. I talk to you more than I talk to my mother. You know what I'm saying? There's people I work with that I talk to more than family members. And so this particular individual, black female, 38 years old, very, very close to my wife and my children. And we had to tell them the reality that she had passed away very suddenly. I mean, she was on her way out of town. And we just got the news overnight, literally like 12:30 a.m. in the morning. And the wifey was inconsolable, obviously. And, I've dealt with death before, and, it's not an easy prospect. And all I can say is we don't know the details of how she passed away. She seemed to be reasonably healthy, 38 years old, which is very young, and just sort of passed away very suddenly as she was preparing to go out of town. And the only thing that I can say is to underscore a couple things. One, life is precious. You only get one shot at this. Don't blow it. And take care of your temple. Again, I don't know the details of how she passed away and if it was what it was. I don't know if it was a heart attack or whatever, but I will say that, I shared my story over and over again of what happened to me on February 2nd in the hopes that I can touch somebody out there so they can change their habits, because it is real. I'm telling you, family, it is real. There's a direct correlation between your life, quality of life, health issues, and the way that you take care of your temple. Treat it like the gift that God gave you. That's all I can say. And so it was a difficult moment. I've been through this before, and my attitude about most things when it comes to my family and my children in particular is to keep it straight with them. This is what happened, and then to be there for them if they need it. So, it was very emotional. We gathered them. I mean, this woman was very close to my wife, very close to my family. My wife had just spoken with her a few hours before she got the news. It was very, very emotional, very emotional. And we sat them down and I told them. And just told them what was going on. My daughter couldn't believe it. I just was with her right before the show started. I can tell she's still shocked. And, I'll say it again, everything that lives dies. All the people that you know are going to die. You are going to die. What are you going to do with this time that you have on this earth. You know what I'm saying? I say live your best life to the fullest. Step outside your comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? Cross all boundaries. Do whatever it is you're trying to do, homie, because we don't have a lot of time. You know, for me, my time is the most precious thing. I'm selfish with my time, and I try to spend my time on projects and in ways that matter to me. You know, time is the most important thing to me. It's more important than money. It's time. The time I get a chance to spend with my family, my children, the time that I spend working on projects, the time I spend with you it's the most important thing that I have. It's the most important thing because it's running out. So to me, you know, I just share this with you just to wake you up if in fact you are not awoke about, you know, how your lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? What are you eating? You know, are you working out? Are you doing drugs? You know, think about it, family, because when it comes, it comes. When you're laying up in the hospital or you're calling EMS, whatever's going to happen at that point is going to happen. And a lot of folks think that they're omnipotent, like because nothing happens to them. They're like, oh, man, I got this. Okay. Don't go out like me. You know what I'm saying? Be better than me. I want to share that with you. So it's very emotional time here in the household. You know, the wifey is, as you can imagine, was her friend initially and then became a family friend to all of us, an extended family member. I'm saying as close as you can be, right? Without being blood. So these folks, you know, people like that are just like family members, especially when they have an impact with your children. You know, that's when it becomes a family friend. And, you know, I can count on one hand the amount of people that I would call a friend. You know, people throw that word around a lot. I don't throw that word around a lot. If you hear me say friend, you better believe that they are a friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really believe that. I don't throw that word around a lot. I don't throw I love you. I don't throw a lot of those words around because it means too much to me. I don't do the play cousin, play auntie thing. I'm I don't do none of that because that comes with expectations. You know what I'm saying? And when I need you, I need you. I don't want to hear no abba dabba dee dabba dooba. Because you're not going to get that from me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when I'm telling you a close family, personal friend, a family member, you can take it to the bank. That's exactly who this woman was and what she represented to me and my family. So, like, again, throw some prayers for us. But again, my opinion about death is different. You know, my grandfather, I talk about a lot, was probably even more than my father, was the male role model that was the most instrumental to me in my life. And in hindsight, I wish that I didn't even go to his funeral because I remember sitting there in the front row. I had to be in the front row. Nobody could be in front of me. I remember thinking, this is a waste of my time. You know, I want to remember him alive. At that point, the spirit has moved on. I don't think I've ever, I think once, and that was like 15, maybe 19 years ago, he passed away, that I've even gone to the gravesite because I'm different. You know, I hold on to the memories, not a gravesite or a body or something like that, but I'm different in that. You know, for me, I understand the finality of death. And the thing about death is life goes on. That's what trips you out. That's what trips you out about it, is that the world moves on and you're sitting here kind of stuck in your emotional feelings because you lost somebody close to you, but the world don't care. The world just moves and keeps on rolling. You know what I'm saying? So listen, if you got people you love up on them. You know what I'm saying? Stop and smell the roses. Give people their props while they are alive. You know what I'm saying? Let people know how much they mean to you while they are alive because, you know, I could get off the show today and say I'm running to the store and never come home today. That's how it works. No tears. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So live your best life, homie. Live your best life. Live your best life. You know what I'm saying? Live it to the fullest. Step outside your comfort zone. Do whatever it is you're trying to do, you think you want to do it because you don't have a lot of time. All right? Let me move on here. 513-873-7134. I want to give you some details about the Breonna Taylor case. Only one no officers were charged with the murder of Breonna Taylor. Detective Brett Hankinson was charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment, which is a Class D felony that carries from 1 to 5 years in prison. What is wanton endangerment? Well, I've got it for you, at least from Kentucky's point of view. What's very, very interesting is that only one officer was charged, and he wasn't even charged directly in the death of Breonna Taylor. He was charged because basically he had bad aim and was firing into other apartments that were occupied by other residents. The two other officers, Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly and Officer Miles Cosgrove, they weren't charged at all. So it really underscores the reality that Black lives do not matter in Kentucky. What we learned, what I learned, right? And there might be some smart legal minds out there that can share their thoughts and give me their perspective. The door is open at 513-873-7134. But what I learned is in Kentucky, you can, if you've had any associations in the past with somebody that's dealing with drugs, whether you're with that person or not with that person, you might be woken up in the middle of the night with a no-knock arrest warrant, right? And then you might be killed by police and your life doesn't matter whatsoever. How is this justice for Breonna Taylor? And none of the officers were held responsible for what they did. I mean, think about this, family. Think about this. Like, Breonna Taylor was not the focus of the warrant. Breonna Taylor was not the person who allegedly was doing anything, right? It was some associations in the past. They break into her house. And again, I saw what the Black, district attorney general or the attorney general in Kentucky had to say. And he had the nerve to say, I'm a Black man and I understand this pain. Are you really? Are you really? And, he went on to talk about how they had a witness who said that they heard the police identify themselves, which opens, this is all very troubling, which opens up the door for us to believe that this Black man, right, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend or friend in the house, heard them say police and decided to open fire on police officers. And I just don't believe that. They want us to believe that, but I don't believe that one bit. I don't believe that this Black man, who by his own admission, his own words, said that he had a concealed and carry permit, but had never really fired outside of the firing range, that he openly was going to fire upon officers and they had no drugs and money in the house whatsoever. Now, why would he do that? Why would he do that? See, there are people out there that want you to believe that Black people would do these kind of things. Like, this is just every day. Hey, Black people got such a problem with police that when they identify themselves and knock on the door, they're just going to open fire. I don't believe it one bit. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit, family. You might believe it. Some of y'all might believe it. I don't believe it one bit, not for even a little bit. I don't believe it. I don't think it's true. I think it's some straight up BS, quite honestly, in my opinion. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. I want to get your thoughts this morning and your reaction to the Breonna Taylor decision. And of course, people are in the streets. It's being widely reported that 2 officers were shot in Louisville overnight, and that the suspect may or may not be in custody here in the city of Cincinnati, which was a reflection of other cities around the country. You had people that were marching. And, that's great. I love it. I love that public pressure. Stay in the streets. I love it. That's what time it is. But I want to give you some things from my opinion as to what I think people can do to change the system, because the system needs to be changed. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. What's up, BT? What's up, Fast Pitch Rice? The AG is not a Black man. He's a man with brown skin who is following the directives and expectations of his family, the McConnells. Yeah. Him being a McConnell supersedes him being a Black man, in my opinion. And listen, folks, as we're just getting started this morning, please take a moment to like and in particular share today's show. When you share the show, more people see it. If you like this content, please share it. I'm on a mission. One man, one microphone, one mission. My mission is to amplify Black voices in the city of Cincinnati, to amplify marginalized voices in the city of Cincinnati. And you can help on a very small level. Really, I think it's a big level, actually, by sharing today's show. I appreciate you. We're live on Sin Digital Media, a new voice in the city of Cincinnati. Good morning to you. Are you surprised? No, we're not surprised by this. But I think we should break this all down as to what it means. Black lives don't matter in Louisville. 3 officers, none of them were charged directly in her murder. Do you believe what the AG said? That they had a witness, and again, we know these witnesses. I mean, how many brown folks, how many people have been locked up because police coerced the witness to say something? These witnesses, I don't believe it. They want us to believe that this black man who's laying in bed with his lady, they got no drugs, they got no money in the house, the house whatsoever, in the residence whatsoever. And he's just gonna open fire on police officers, and he knows they're police officers. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. If you believe it, you're racist or you just don't think too brightly. Straight up, I don't believe that. They want us to believe that this black man in this day and age is just gonna open fire on police officers. I don't believe it. I think what's much more likely is what the man said, that they just hear bamming, bamming, bamming. They don't hear any identification whatsoever. And I mean, it doesn't make any sense. What you got a no-knock warrant, but you identify yourself. Isn't the whole purpose is to not identify yourself with the element of surprise? Come on, man. I don't believe it whatsoever. And what I do believe is that if Louisville police, prosecutors, or whomever wanted to dredge up a witness to bear false witness against a black man and woman, that they can do it. How many times have we seen this in the American legal system? Over and over again. That's easy. That seems to be easy. It seems like once a week we find out that somewhere in the country, prosecutors lied about evidence, withheld evidence, coerced the witness recounts their story. So again, the fact that they claim that they found a witness who was able to say, oh yeah, I heard him say police, I don't believe it one bit. And you shouldn't either, homie. You should not either, family. And this is the reason why people are so upset. This is the reason right here because why people are so upset. This is right here. You want to know why black people mistrust law enforcement? Look at this right here. So you roll into the place, and what I don't understand is, so again, the moral of the story is that in Louisville, in Kentucky, police officers can come to your home, knock down the door, start busting shots, don't identify themselves, start firing, and if they kill you, and it's no big deal. Detective Brett Hankinson was charged with wanton endangerment because he had bad aim. He was firing into other people's apartments. He should be charged with that. Do you think that the Attorney General got it right? If you think that it's wrong, give me your opinion as to why you think they came to this particular point of view, this particular conclusion. And in general, I want to get your thoughts about this. Again, I can't speak for anybody, but I'm going to say in general that I don't think that anybody that I know is surprised by this. I saw some interviews with NBA players, right? Last night, they were talking with Jason Tatum with the Boston Celtics. He said, we ain't surprised. We ain't surprised by this. But what are we going to do about it? What can be done about it? I've got a few thoughts I want to share with you this morning. 513-873-7134 if you'd like to share your thoughts. I definitely want to talk about it. Plus, I want to talk about what's happening in the last 24 hours here in the city of Cincinnati, because there's a war going on right now, folks. When people say that the soul of America is at stake, it is. I mean, on the national level, you got a president who basically is saying that if he loses the election, then he might not leave office. That's what Donald Trump is saying on the national level. And he's got the QAnon folks that'll be his private security force to try to, come to raise arms to protect their president. I ain't ishing you. I'm being real with you. This is real. This is really happening. I told folks that if you want to stop Donald Trump, I'm not surprised by anything Donald Trump is doing because this is the same guy. And look at what he did with the Central Park Five. And to this day, he still hasn't apologized, even though they are the exonerated Central Park Five. This man has been dividing and trying to puff himself up with race and racism for years. But y'all thought there was no difference between him and Hillary, right? Ain't no difference. Sure, it's no difference. So Donald Trump now, and I'll play the audio for you, he was asked directly by reporters as to whether he was going to leave the White House if he loses. He's out here talking about how ballots shouldn't be counted. He told everybody, look, we need a nice Supreme Court justice because what he's anticipating is that he loses, he might just stay in office and say, look, the Democrats tried to pull some scam with the ballots. It might go to Supreme Court. But people are running around here talking about Joe Biden and Trump are the same. Y'all need it. Some people can be so smart, they're straight up dumb. Straight up dumb. There's a major difference. Here in Cincinnati, Betsy Sunderman got called out yesterday, and I love watching it. She got called out. I've been saying it. I don't know anybody else has been saying it, but I've been saying it. I reached out to Betsy Sunderman this morning again to see if she will come on the show. Let me see if I got a response here. I'm not really anticipating getting a response. I don't think she'll come on, even though she follows me on Twitter, so she's aware of the show. She knows who I am. You know what I'm saying? All these local Republicans know what time it is on this show with me. They all know. We'll see if she comes on because I got some very straight questions for her. But she got called out yesterday by a multitude of folks, black and white, saying that her motion was nothing more than politics. And that's exactly what it is. She's playing politics at a time of emergency. But I knew that when I read her Cincinnati Enquirer op-ed piece, in which instead of offering real solutions about the tragedy of gun violence, she was out here trying to be the Xena warrior princess for the FOP. F her motion, her dumbass motion. It's dumb. It's a waste of time. Who cares? It's a waste of time. And you had two black men on city council who was like, oh, I can't wait to sign it. Christopher Smitherman. Christopher ain't doing Smitherman. Running around at a time like this talking about the Gang of Five on Twitter on some dumb-ish. What kind of black man is this? And Jeff, polyamorous pastor, telling us dumb ish about his personal relationships that nobody cares about. They couldn't wait to sign on to it. I'm calling them all out today. They don't like it. It don't make no damn difference. They don't do that for me anyway. So what difference does it make? So what? And straight dumb ish. Please share this and let them know I said it. The door is open. I went on Twitter 2 days ago, Christopher Smith, and run around here talking about the Gang of Five? You the law and public safety chair? And you still talking about the Gang of Five? Listen, when we get his ass off of city council is going to be much better. You talk about an agent of division, it's him. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it 100 with you. It's that black man who turned his back on black media because he got in his feelings. He got into it with Jerry Tolliver. I know the whole story. I just haven't told it because it's really Jerry's story to tell. Lion-ass mofo run around playing games when he should be delivering tangibles. The question has to be asked, what in the hell has Christopher Smitherman done with these 8 years on council? What has he been doing? And he gonna run for county commissioner? Oh, dear Lord. Dear Lord. See, these other cats in the city too scared to say it, but I don't give a damn. It don't matter. There's no repercussions. Like it, don't like it, come on the show, don't come on the show. We don't care. And period. The real is the real. And why would Jeff Pastor sign this BS nonsense because he had to do it because of the Republican Party? That's enough. Jeff, I like you on a personal tip, bro, but your game needs to tighten up. And stop talking about being fucking polyamorous. We don't care. Just go have your girlfriends and like everybody else, not everybody else, but just go do what you do and keep it on the low. We don't give a damn, period. What we care about is equity, policy, and tangibles. If you ain't delivering that, you got to go, period. I can't wait for city council elections. I can't wait to get this process started. We need some new leadership. Like Christopher can't, he's term limited. So he's just down there on 100 miles of dumb-ish every day. Every day. Every day. And you think I'm going to give him a pass because he's a black man? The pass is over. Get to work. What are you doing? What are you really delivering? Instead of delivering narratives for 700 WLW and 55 KRC to talk about. Talk about a complete waste of a city council seat. It's the seat that Christopher Smitherman's sitting on. I ain't saying I don't never disagree when he says some things that from time to time, I'm like, okay, he's on the right side. But this whole gang of five-ish, black, why the hell do we care about that? We don't. Get to work. Make it happen, Captain. I love seeing Bessie Sutherman get called out yesterday. I loved it. I loved it. They were saying the right things like, oh, we see who you are now. Listen, when I saw that op-ed piece, I knew right then. Like, oh, okay. She is on. She want to be the Xena warrior princess for the FOP. That's her strategy. Her strategy is to scare people, scare the suburbs, scare white folks into voting for her and so she can be reelected next year. What is she really coming up with and delivering that really matters to people? This silly ass motion about, it's symbolic at the end of the day about do you defund the police, which I guess maybe it might put some of the members of city council between a rock and a hard place. Not me. Stop playing games with people's lives and get to work out here. Or else, just like people said yesterday, y'all don't have to be reelected. I mean, Bessie Sutherman has never been elected. You were appointed, Betsy. You weren't elected. You ain't never ran a successful campaign. You off to a bad start, boo. You off to a horrible start. And Jeff Pastor, I mean, you might have been elected the first time. That don't mean you're going to get reelected, bruh. You better get to work out here. I don't give a damn about your test tattoos. I don't care about how many reps you run in and how fast you doing a mile. What I care about is equity, policy, and tangibles. I don't care if you got girlfriends, quite honestly. Just stop talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Period. Get to work. Man, we got some clowns on city council, man. And I don't know what anybody else is doing out here in local media, but I'm about that life to here to tell you every morning what time it is, who's real, who's fake. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. You like the show, don't like the show, share the show, I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to you real. I see nonsense. You know, all this, listen, I love the show yesterday, but I wish that they were talking about something that really mattered. Defund the police. So basically your budget is untouchable in a moment of crisis post-COVID-19 where every other budget is being rethought. Everybody else is being asked to maybe rethink and tighten up, but you're not supposed to because you want to play fear-mongering. No, we see through the games, boo. I'm not afraid. You shouldn't be afraid. We should be more afraid of what these politicians are doing and not doing than you can be, you know, some Black Lives Matter protesters. Get the hell out of here, man. People need to grow up and wake up. Stop playing the personality games and actually look at what people are doing and proposing in terms of tangibles. And if they're not delivering, call their ass out. Call them out. You know what I'm saying? Stop beating around the bush and keep it 100. Simple as that. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But again, if you don't know, I'll give you the details once again this morning. No officers were charged with the murder of Breonna Taylor directly. Detective Brett Hankinson charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment because he had bad aim. He was firing into other people's homes and all kind. What the hell? What kind of officers is this? And it's a Class D felony in Kentucky that carries from 1 to 5 years in prison. And here are the officers right here. Jonathan Mattingly, not charged. Miles Cosgrove, not charged. And, you know, what you can do about it if you're in Louisville is I love the public protest. I love it. I think that's a part of the overall strategy. But y'all should be organizing. Y'all should be organizing politically. You should be organizing, creating grassroots movements right now around agendas that fit your viewpoint. You know what I'm saying? That satisfy, you know, what you think needs to be done. That's what you should be doing. You should be coming up with 5, 10, 15-year plans on how you're going to get a new AG in office. If you don't like what the current AG did, then start organizing. Start organizing. You know, if there was ever a time in which you could rally people, it should be right now. If you can't rally people right now, then those people are unrallyable. Making up words, I know. But those people are untouchable. You know what I'm saying? All the people that know what time it is are watching what time it is right now. They're on top of the game. They own the ball. You could be organizing. You should be organizing around city council. You should be organizing around your mayor. You should be organizing at the state level to try to get the change that you need. It's not going to happen because you cry. These civil lawsuits is not going to happen. It won't be until, black folks, progressive-minded individuals come together and organize and turn themselves into, powerful resources, powerful tools that then the community can use to kind of get things done in the way that you think they need to be done. I'm not in Louisville, so I can't tell you the ins and outs and who the players are and all the details. But if you are in Louisville, that's what time it is. That's what time it is right now. You outraged. I love the people in the streets. I've seen people sitting outside the cars. It remind me of what I saw with my own eyes here in Cincinnati. If you go back to the early 2000s, it reminded me of all of that. And I think that plays a role in it because that can win people over, to your particular side. And, you should be forming political action committees. You should be forming agendas. You should be forming organizations that, have the kind of agenda that's going to make the kind of change that you think, you want to see. And I don't care where you are in the country. That's something that you can do. I know people doing it here. I know people doing it on the state level. People doing it in Kentucky. I know black people who are doing that in Kentucky right now. So I'm not dropping some jewels that other people haven't already thought of. I'm just sometimes reinforcing best practices. You know what I'm saying? 100%. But let me go to the phones this morning and take our first phone call. And you can call into the show at 513-873-7134. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, comrade.
Hey, good morning, Black Russia. How are you?
What's up? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome.
Hey, condolences to your family, bro. I know that family friends can hit like family. So best wishes to you and your people.
Appreciate it.
I was calling about several things. Number one, Breonna Taylor. I mean, yeah, we're not surprised, bro. It's just what it is. I mean, the government has a wide range of powers. They can kick in your door with a bad warrant and kill you in your house. And, oops, my bad, it's going to cover it along with $12 million. That's all they got for you. They ain't got no trial for the dude who did it. Just how it is. It goes back to what Fame said, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, coming yesterday, but the day before. I think you talked to him about qualified immunity. These guys got immunity because they're under the cutter of law. They can do this type of stuff and screw it up.
Yeah, civil immunity, right.
Yeah. Well, criminal too, you see, they ain't going down. I mean, for criminals, you got to be like grossly out the way. Like, you got to be like knowing what you're doing. Like, I know I got a bad warrant. I know I'm going in here to kill this woman. Like, that's how it kind of operates. Like, you have to have that type of mindset if you got a police uniform on to get caught up in those types of situations. Unfortunately. So, it's just one of them deals like, oops, my bad, covers it.
I mean,
but,
what about the castle doctrine? Isn't Kentucky a castle doctrine state where you have, the right to stand your ground? So whether it's police or whatever else, somebody's knocking on your door, you don't know who they are. You have a right to protect yourself. It seems like that was thrown out or not even considered in this case.
No, it wasn't because of the people who were involved, the police. That don't apply to the police. That applies to your everyday citizens. But the castle doctrine, if the police are coming to your house, castle doctrines don't apply. Whether they got a bad warrant, good warrant, no warrant. I mean, that's just how it is. The government has that type of power. They can come in your house, even if it's unconstitutional to come in your house. Only way they're gonna get you for real is on the money end.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right, man. That's the way it is, but I don't think that's the way it has to continue to be. It doesn't have to be that way. If people organize and change the laws, then they can change it.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you on that. But, going on what Fame said the other day, RB didn't want to look at qualified immunity. He didn't think that was something to be considered by the court. So here we are. If we'd have had maybe some clarity on qualified immunity, what the police can and cannot do as it relates to when they're operating in official capacities, then maybe we have some recourse. But, people like RBG didn't want to look at it, even though Clarence Thomas wanted to look at it, the black guy. It's just
Clarence
that
was
people
finally
gotta
on the
really
right side on
evaluate.
something.
Say it again?
I said Clarence was finally on the right side about something. I see people want to keep coming back to it. But, that doesn't have to be the end of it. It's just like Obamacare and abortion. The people that want to abolish abortion and take away a woman's rights to choose, they didn't stop with one defeat. They keep running test cases to the Supreme Court. We can do the same thing with qualified immunity.
Yeah, good luck trying to run a test, run to the Supreme Court with Amy Coney Barrett about to get on there. Let me know how that goes. Probably the 6th Supreme Court justice.
Yeah, Trump says he's going to make an announcement on Saturday at 5 p.m. It's going to be a big prime time event. He's a master showman. Hey, brother, you still there? Call me back, Black Russia. I'm not sure what happened. I didn't cut you off or anything. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know everybody's riding on Clarence Thomas. I think that if we're going to be fair to ourselves, we need a deeper analysis than just one or two cases as it relates to RBG and also to Clarence Thomas. I'll be honest with you. And I'll be honest with you, I have not read the notes of the particular case. Sometimes these things can look one way, but when you start to read into it and look at the methodology and the thought process of the particular justices, it can take you somewhere else. But I see everybody wants to give Clarence Thomas props now. Okay, Black Russia, you're back now.
Yeah, sorry, Bob.
It's all good.
Spot.
All good.
I kind of heard what you said about giving a deeper analysis. I mean, people need to do some reading on these justices. I mean, I was fortunate enough to read some of the decisions. I can't tell you all of them off the top of my head, but they all have different perspectives on different aspects of the law. So, RBG might have been good in some respects, but not so good in other respects. Same thing with Clarence Thomas and all these other justices. I mean, they're not monolithic in terms of how they perceive the law. They have different perspectives on different aspects of the law. I guess my only thing about what you're trying to say in terms of like abortion in front of test case to the Supreme Court, this is really a state matter. You didn't see the feds trying to prosecute this. So it really depends. It goes back to state government. Castle doctrine. That's created by the Commonwealth of Kentucky. People got to talk to their legislators. They want that stuff to change because the way the law was applied and the government having immunity the way it has, there was no way they would be charged with killing her. There's no way.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, we're not surprised. I mean, a lot of smart legal minds, lawyers, black lawyers were saying as much leading up to this. So again, I don't think anybody's surprised by it. To me, I think that, concerned people should use it as ammunition, as fire, and get out here and start organizing and change the laws, change the system.
For sure. People just got to get motivated. I mean, I agree with that 100%. I know you were probably tied up yesterday, but did you watch any of the city council meeting yesterday?
I did. I got a chance to watch, a lot of it actually on city cable.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the worst meetings I've seen. It wasn't a good meeting.
When you say so when you say worst, like what was so bad about it from your perspective?
Well, from my perspective, it was highly charged with people trying to play politics on both sides. I ain't gonna just leave it to Sunderman, but the other Democrats too. Like PG was trying to take over the meeting, and like John Crowley's in charge. Like John Crowley had to tell him, look, maybe you'll sit in this chair one day, but today I'm sitting in the chair.
Is that what I missed that part?
Oh,
I missed that part.
I was great. It was great political theater. Bro.
Oh, was it?
He said you might sit in this chair in about a year and a half from now. But today I'm sitting in this chair because what happened was, Sunderman had her motion right about defunding the police and blah blah blah. So what ended up happening was PG wanted to make an amendment, so he asked an amendment on there. Blessy Sunderman go ahead and accept it, but then he tried to change it a third time to take out abolish versus defund, or vice versa. Like I said, defund. If we don't want to abolish the police, we don't want to defund the police. It was semantics, basically. She said no to that. So then what happened was John Crowley was only going to give an up or down vote on the original motion that's written. Well, PG didn't like that, so PG tried to restate what he wanted to. And the mayor had to say, no, you didn't give any notice to the public about what you want to do for a resolution on defunding the police or whatever like that. So we're going with Sunderman's motion, period. And he tried to just out-talk the mayor, and the mayor had to let him know, like, hey, no, I'm the mayor. Maybe you'll become the mayor one day, but today I'm the mayor. So we're going to do it my way. You got to give the public notice about what you want them to say about defunding the police or abolishing the police. It was just absolutely sick to me. Like, this guy is power struck to the point where he thinks he can out-talk the mayor and run the meeting and tell the mayor how to do his job. I found that troubling. Bessie Sunderman's motion didn't even get a vote on it because the Democrats don't want to deal with that conversation unless they're in total control. You know, they don't like Bessie Sunderman.
But what's the conversation, though? Isn't this basically symbolic? At the end of the day, this has no real. She just wants council to make a statement that they won't defund the police, which I think is at odds with the responsibility that we gave them as voters. I mean, it's post-COVID. Every department is being asked to tighten up. There might be a foreseeable future where the police department is being asked to tighten up. That means cuts. You know, where can you save money? That's just smart governance. And to me, it seems like she's playing politics because she understands this or she doesn't understand it. Either way, it's a problem. If she understands it, it's just politics. She's just trying to put, I guess maybe put people in a difficult position if that's the case, or trying to make herself look good.
I don't think she's trying to make herself look good. I think she's really trying to get to the heart of the issue. Because, see, the thing about it is, you want to talk about this being symbolic and all that. Yeah, but you know what? PG sitting feeling all them do symbolic stuff all the time, like Indigenous Peoples Day. You know what I'm saying? Like, they always try to get people on the record about their positions. Sunderman does the same thing, and there's a problem now. They're trying to out-talk her. I don't see that
as being the same.
That's what I don't like. Like, don't do something and then turn around somebody else try to pull it, and then you're gonna try to ish on them. Like that to me is that's out of bounds. Indigenous, and just trying to shout down the mayor is crazy to me. Like, you're not the mayor, dude.
Well, I mean, we obviously disagree on this because Indigenous Peoples Day was a part of a national movement to recognize the indigenous people over a murdering rapist bastard named Christopher Columbus. Those are two different things.
Symbolic, though. But was it a symbolic vote, though?
Well, is it symbolic?
Just say yes, Nathan. Yes, it was symbolic, bro. It wasn't no policy.
I don't think that's symbolic, though. I mean, recognizing the contributions of the original people over a rapist, murderous bastard ain't symbolic. That ain't the same to me. I'm sorry.
We're not talking about the subject matter. We're talking about the legislation. The legislation
it's all the same, though.
Southern is doing symbolic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying you trying to play her like she's doing some symbolic.
It's completely symbolic because it's completely symbolic. It has no merit other than that. It's just she wants a symbolic declaration from city council members, which I think contradicts the responsibility that we, the voters, gave them. We told them to be responsible stewards of our tax dollars, didn't we?
Man, we didn't tell them to get in the Indigenous Peoples Day.
I'm just saying, didn't we elect city council members to be responsible stewards of our tax dollars? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Okay, then. So it might be.
From the Gang of Five stuff, let's not go there, okay?
I didn't go there. I didn't bring it up. You did, but I'm just saying on this issue.
Responsible for our tax dollars. That's part of that too.
On this issue, Black Russia, it might be responsible for city council to look at various city departments and say, listen, it's post-COVID. We broke. You guys are going to have to give us some proposals on how you're going to cut your budget. That should also include the Cincinnati Police Department.
That's not what they're doing, though.
But I'm just saying that is exactly what they're doing. And this motion, in my opinion, from where I'm reading it,
yes.
It contradicts the very responsibility that we, the voters, gave them. The police department's budget should be open for discussion in the future, like everybody else's budget, in my opinion.
See, you can't treat the police like that, and the fire department like that.
How's it a trick?
You can't treat them like every other department like that.
They are every other department. They're just like any other department. There's nothing different about them. They have a role and responsibility for the citizens, period.
Whoever has that mindset trying to be on city council ain't going to be on city council. All right, in 2021, write this down. If you got the mindset that the police and fire department budgets should be treated like everybody else's budget, kiss your ass goodbye for city council.
Why?
We'll talk soon.
Why is that?
We'll talk soon about it. I'm gonna let that marinate, put it out there. You think the funding the Cincinnati Police Department is a good idea? You want for city council?
I think
your plan.
Well, you can twist my words the way you want to, but I'm very clear. Like I said, every department should be up for potential budget review, including the Cincinnati Police Department and the Cincinnati Fire Department. All of them. They have a job, a role, and responsibility for us. And if the city is bankrupt or broke or projecting not bringing a lot of money in, if we're going to ask the parks, we should be asking the police. That's not defund the police. That's called smart money management. That's called smart government. That's smart governance.
That's the defunding the police, bro. That's the definition. You just proved my point.
No, I didn't.
Defunding the police. Whoever has that mentality going down to City Hall next year ain't winning.
I got that mentality.
Ain't gonna win.
I got that mentality, and we'll see.
We'll see. That's what I'm saying.
We'll see. To me, that's smart governance. Period.
I think locking it in, saying we support the police department.
But you're acting as if you're acting as if it's a zero-sum conversation. I support the police department, and at the same time, when the budget gets tight, they might be asked to tighten up like everybody else. You acting like it's either or. That's the real problem. It's not.
It absolutely is.
It's not.
It's not. It's like your priorities are based upon where you put your money at, right? Your priorities are based upon where you put your money at, and if you ain't putting no money behind law and public safety, then you
got selective hearing, bro. You're hearing what you want to hear, Black Russia. You're hearing what you want to hear, but we can agree to disagree.
We will. You have a good day. I think this is a catalyst for more discussion.
Absolutely.
Council, that was crazy, bro.
Okay. Well, we agree. We disagree on that. I appreciate the call. See, he's got the mentality that, in my opinion, I see from other people as if it's like zero sum. Like if you support the police, then you can never ask them to tighten their budget. Why the hell not? And I'll tell you why. There is no real correlation between having a whole lot of police officers and keeping you safe. There are studies that prove it. I guess you're not aware of that, Black Russia. I guess you're not aware of that, Bessie Sunderman. There are studies that prove it. And the most relevant study is the city of Cincinnati. We have more police right now than we ever have before, but crime keeps happening. We just had an uptick in gun violence. People still feel insecure. That in and of itself tells you that there's no real correlation between the two. It's just politics and BS. That's all it is. Politics and BS. The reality is that every city department in the future, their budget should be subject to review by city council. That doesn't mean you're going to completely defund them. That's child's play. We grown folks. Stop playing games with grown folks. It just means from a city council perspective, like if you're good government, you might have to ask some people to say, hey, listen, how can we save some dollars? That's not defund the police. That's called smart money management. You do it in your own home, don't you? How many people have a house budget? I know I do. How many people have had to rethink their budget during COVID? I know we have. If in my household, I have to rethink how much money I spend on food, then damn it, the Cincinnati police, like every other department, should, if the need is there, should be asked to how they can tighten their budget. The hell? Right. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. We grown. We smart, intelligent Black people here on the Nathan Ivey Show. We ain't going for that. Stop it. If having 1,000 officers would decrease the crime rate, then why we been talking about our crime rate being so high? What do we need? 3,000 officers? Come on now, stop it. Stop it. Don't let people play politics with you and play games with you. You know, there's a happy medium. And defund the police, as I understand, it doesn't mean in everybody's mind. Like I've heard this from some folks that want to completely abolish the police and they want to remake it. Okay, that's one wing of that conversation. But when I hear people say defund the police, what they're really saying, and perhaps this should be the real mantra, is let's rethink police budgets. So stop with the fear mongering, because I'm not with it. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan Ivey. This is Kelly Prather. How are you?
Hey, Kelly Prather, what's going on? Welcome.
Hey, I first want to offer my deepest condolences on your loss. I hear you lost a friend.
Yeah,
Is
we
that
lost a
correct?
very deep, close family friend. Yes.
Yeah, I can only imagine. We lost our oldest sister this past Saturday, and
Wow.
Nathan, losing a sibling is a different type of pain. So if you had a very close friend who was like more like family, I totally relate. And again, I send my prayers and condolences to you. But I want to talk about Breonna Taylor. I was really, really, really concerned when her family took the settlement. I get it. They have suffered a major loss, but with all of these police involved shootings where there has been settlements concerned, you could almost predict the case. I think that this was an egregious attack on justice, and the attorney general's emotion or facade of just being broken just confirms that he's being used as a puppet for the system. But like you were just saying, as it relates to the police, I think that I'm not big on defunding the police at all. I think that, like you said, we need to rethink the budget as it relates to the police force. We definitely need to rethink the budget, but as far as defunding it, no, don't defund the police. I mean, in the event that, I'm getting raped or, a family member is in in harm's way, I want the police to come out and protect. And for the record, I have some amazing police friends. And I also have a brother who's worked for the city's fire department for the past 30 years. And they work their asses off, period. But I just think that we need to look at how, just like with every other system, we also need to look at how we are utilizing the budget. And the police, I just have to say this, when the police year after year after year, they continue to be incentivized for doing no work, that is concerning. When they continue to get raises, and I know the police department, the fire department went for 6 years without a raise, and they're running into burning buildings. They're picking elders who fall in the middle of the street out of their wheelchairs and moving traffic. They're out there doing that, and the police are incentivized while the firefighters are neglected. And so we really need to take a look at that. We need to take a look at, as it relates to Black Lives Matter. And I'm supportive of the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm totally supportive of Black Lives Matter movement. I just don't appreciate how our movement are exploited during election. In the height of election, the Black Lives Matter movement and all of this is exploited in a way where our real concerns are not met. They're just using it to sensationalize or for media coverage, and it's just not right. It is totally not right. So I wanted to talk about that. But then also, you mentioned Christopher Smitherman, and you know the story with what happened with the media and he and Jerry Tolliver getting into it and whatever happened. My concern, the reason I got into radio and television broadcasting, and I'm still looking for you to help me with my podcast, the reason I got into it is because I was concerned when I came back to Ohio in 2014. I was concerned of a lack of Black media, real Black media coverage is bringing the truth, speaking truth to power. And so when I saw all of those positions eliminated from Radio 1, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Why was Nathan, why did you leave? Why did Sister Speaks? Why did everyone have to leave? And when I thought about the fact, the political aspect, I'm like, this is all by design. And so you mentioned Christopher Smitherman. Christopher Smitherman was put back on city council for a specific agenda, and it was to further the agenda of these developers to take control of the city and to take over the media. I believe Ross Love was the owner of the Wiz at one point initially, and he was Republican, and so he was put in that position to further an agenda, although he was an independent. And as of 2019, I believe Christopher Smitherman had recused himself more than 45 times from council meetings because Jostin, his brother's business, was in on the contract. So yeah, they took care of him and his family. But as far as the community as a whole, they have not done a damn thing. And so like you said, as it relates to budgets, yes, we need to take a close look at all the budgets. And so for those people who are following you online, I posted the city's comprehensive annual financial reports from 2001 to 2019. The link to get the reports. If you look at those reports, Nathan, you can tell exactly whose agenda was being pushed, what they were doing, and then you need to couple that or do a comparative analysis of the comprehensive annual financial reports with their campaign finance reports, and it tells the damn story. But like you said, we need new leadership across the damn board. I'm so sick and tired of city council. It was commendable that Mayor Cranley took control of the city council meeting yesterday, although I was not able to watch the full meeting. It was commendable that he did that because, people need to stay in their place and people need to be real. And let me just say this about our friend PG Sittenfield. I like PG Sittenfield. When I was going through my battle with cancer, he and Jasmine came to the hospital to see me, and out of the members of council, they were the only ones who really did that. But at the same time, we need to look at the fact that PG Sittenfield has been on city council for 9 years, Nathan, and he's only pushed one piece of legislation that's relevant to the Black community. If we look at the fact that we have a 42% African American population, and you push one agenda item, gave $500,000, I think, to the African American Chamber, that empowers the Black community. You're not supportive of us, so we need to take a comprehensive look at those reports. We need to look at the fact that while we're talking about these tax abatements and what the developers are doing, these individuals who are sitting in these seats on council voted for this. I sat in council when they had the Croson study. I sat in council when we talked about the Black Agenda Cincinnati. I sat in council when Yvette Simpson ran in after being at the Urban League when they wrote out the State of Black Cincinnati, A Tale of Two Cities. And nothing has changed. It has gotten worse. It has gotten worse. And what we've done is we've pushed our problems in the city out to the county. My brother lives out in Fairfield, and there was a shooting on his street. And when I just kept hearing his street, I'm like, what we've done is we've pushed the problems from the inner city out to the suburbs, out throughout the county. And so the police, they're not doing any damn thing. What they're doing is they're pushing the problem further out, and it's making the county worse. And so the Urban League just wrote out another study. I think it's the Tale of Two Regions, the State of the Region, A Tale of Two Cities, Dayton and Cincinnati. And so basically Cincinnati is just displacing its problems. And I blame that on the city leadership, the leadership that we have within the city now. But we definitely need to look at the police budget because they're not doing a damn thing. There's been an uptick in gun violence, uptick in violence across the board, and we have to be real about it. So I appreciate your show. I know that I haven't been sharing it a lot lately, but trust and believe I have a lot going on, but I commend you. I think that we need more soldiers on the ground like you. And if you decide to run for city council, I got your back. So, thank you so much for all that you're doing. And thank you so much for taking my call. Please keep me in prayer. And I also keep you and your family in my prayer, Nathan. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Great flows. Appreciate everything. And ditto. Appreciate it. It's Kelly Prather, who is actually a Cincinnati mayoral candidate. She had everything. I appreciate it. What do you think about her flows? That's Kelly Prather right there. Just going back to the buzz since she brought that up. Like I told you, I think that had more to do with Jerry Tolliver than me. I was sort of collateral damage to make things sort of make it look good. And it was so funny how back then they put the word out. I'm talking about Radio 1. They put the word out. It was about the budget. They wasn't making money, which nothing could be further from the truth. And then they come back to the same format. So is it still not making money? That was about politics and personality. The particular politics of the then general manager, who was a Trumpster, and personality issues with Jerry Tolliver, Black female. Some folks that don't want to deal with Black females, especially when they're Black females that know what they're talking about. Sometimes, we see that over and over again. It is what it is. And it doesn't contradict anything else I've said. As it relates to Ross Love and the Love family, I give them props. They gave me a shot. I appreciate it. I ran with it. I appreciate it. But they weren't perfect, and nobody is perfect. That's part of a lot of those things that she brought up and I just shared with you are the reason why I'm on the mission I'm on right now. 100%. 100% about amplifying Black voices in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond. It's the reason why I kicked off Sin Digital Media and more. It's the reason why I do podcasting and live streams, because we need different voices. We need different voices. And, you know, she talked about Christopher Smith. I mean, be honest with you, it's been a while. I don't remember all the details. I have to search my memory banks. But again, that was more personality issues. He fell out with Jerry Tolliver over something that was relatively small, in my opinion. But, you know, dudes have egos. Some dudes don't understand no. You know what I'm saying? They don't want a black woman telling them no, or they don't want somebody telling them no and all this kind of stuff. I'm just telling you, it's, you know, somebody I wrote, it was LeBron James. He said LeBron James, hold on, let me put a Twitter right now. LeBron James says something I agree with on Twitter. He is 100% right about this. Hold on, I'm going to bring this up. LeBron James. I just saw it retweeted. He said, the most disrespected person on earth is the black woman. I promise you, I'll do my best to change this as much as I can and even more. Love to you queens all over this country and beyond. And in this city, that's been true. I've seen it with my own eyes. 100%. That's why I'm here to amplify black female voices, black voices, marginalized voices with CDM. Because I see how other people are not doing it. Or they fake do it. I'm telling you, you got a lot of fake individuals behind microphones. I'm just going to leave it just like that. Y'all make y'all decisions and kind of figure out. If you think I'm talking about you, I probably am, and all the other kind of stuff. I'm on to other things, but part of black folks' problem is black folks in this city. I'll say it again. Part of white supremacy could not have the hold that it has on the black community if you didn't have black people who are willing participants. And black people are in it for different reasons. Some people are in it because, you know, they want to be the good black, right? Oh, I'm in the house. Some people are in it because it fits their own desires and their selfish desires as to what they want. Some people are getting paid. Some people are getting power. I mean, people do things for different reasons. But it's the truth. Black folks, we talk about white supremacy, but a part of white supremacy is the influence that it has in our black community. And there are black people that are actually on the low against the black community. Or they're up on they so much for themselves that their actions end up betraying the black community. But because they get something out of it, it's all good. It's all good. Tell me I ain't talking about Cincinnati. You know I'm talking about Cincinnati, 100%. I've seen it. I've dealt with it. I've seen other people get played over and over. It's sad. Like I told you, I feel for Jerry. She deserved better. She deserved better from the community as well. But, you know, that's all old news. It is what it is. I keep it 100 with you. You know what I'm saying? I just, everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's different. I used to work with a nonprofit, and I developed a very close relationship with a black female. And I saw her get played by a so-called Christian organization. I left. I can't do that. You can't dog my sister out, my brother out. I'm going to sit there and just play along. It ain't that serious. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. Other people, I mean, everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no disrespect, but everybody's different. But me, the guy you looking at right now, I can't roll like that. You know what I'm saying? You do me and mine wrong, I'm gone, period. Out the door. We can't do no business. I don't want to hear nothing. I ain't working. I definitely ain't working for you. Yeah, I saw a black woman get played. It was right before Christmas, too, from a Christian organization. I had to go. The wifey wasn't happy about it, I'll be honest with you. It put us in some economic dire straits, but, you know, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You know what I'm saying? You'll fall for anything, and I'm just not that guy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing it. Because the reason why is because, and I tell people this, you know, there's nothing that another person can give me that I don't already have. I got everything. You know what I'm saying? There's, you know, I've had a great life. I live good. I eat good. I live good. I do what I want to do when I get ready to do it. If I want to take a vacation this weekend, we can take a vacation this weekend. If I don't, I don't. If I want to go buy something, generally speaking, within limits, I can go buy it. Life is good. So, you know, it's hard to influence a man when he's got everything that really, really matters to him. You know, got a great wifey, great family, got the respect of my community, get to do what I want to do every day. I get to do what I love. So BS really just rolls off my back real quick because Nate is good. Real good. You know, people can think what they want to think, but I'm here to tell you, Nate is good. You know what I'm saying? I get up every morning and, you know, outside of responsibilities and work, I pretty much do what I want to do. What's better than that? Every day's a vacation for me. Again, I'm lucky to be here, y'all. I'm lucky. I'm lucky to be doing this, so I value every second. I just look at things a lot differently. I really do. So, when you got that kind of attitude, I mean, life is easy. Life is good. Enjoy. I'm living my best life every single day. Trust me on that. And you should do the same thing. Live your best life. Don't let these busters get you down. You can control what you can control, and what you can't, it's out of your hands. I'll say it again. I'm lucky to be here. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I get to work from home. I'm at home. What's better than that? What's better than that? So it is what it is. I appreciate you. Hopefully, there's folks out there that can understand where I'm coming from. And I believe that there are. Listen, I got to take a quick break, family. Got to take a quick break. We'll come right back. We're talking about the aftermath of that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the aftermath of Breonna Taylor. Taking your thoughts on that this morning at 513-873-7134. I don't think that anybody is surprised by this. Black lives don't matter in Kentucky. That's what we found out. But there are some things that you can do to change the system. You can change the system. You can act locally. You should be acting locally, thinking globally, but being active locally. I'm not in Louisville. I have no influence in Louisville. I'm in Cincinnati. If you're in Louisville, you are in Louisville. You have the power to decide what you do moving forward in Louisville. If you're in Dayton, you have the power to decide what you do moving forward in Dayton. You're either going to get active or you're not. That's what it really comes down to. But we'll discuss more on the other side. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. And we'll be right back right after this.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
This is Zoe Wesson. What side of history do you want to be on? The right side, or one where Black people continue to be underrepresented in Hamilton County? Now's your chance to end 230 years of exclusion. In Charlie Winburn, we have a man that's received the Cincinnati NAACP President's Award, who fought on the Ohio Civil Rights Commission for 6 years, who received the Baptist Ministers Conference Community Service Award. Charlie Winburn has received the Southern Christian Leadership Conference Award and was honored by WDBZ The Buzz as Pastor of the Month. We know Charlie Winburn, and he knows us. He's the right man to put us on the right side of history. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd, paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
At the Bloomberg Black Business Report, I'm Donna Wilson. HBCUs have received a financial boost. Since June, historically Black colleges and universities have received almost $500 million in gifts. That's according to Michael Lomax, CEO of the United Negro College Fund. He says in a typical school year, the 101 HBCUs would have received about a tenth of that amount. Citigroup is launching more than $1 billion to help close the racial wealth gap and improve economic mobility. Truist Bank is launching $40 million in a nonprofit fund to support racially diverse and women-owned small businesses. And DraftKings has appointed 2 Black women, Jocelyn Moore and Valerie Mosley, to the company's board of directors. The new board appointments follows DraftKings' recent announcement that Michael Jordan will serve as a special advisor to the board. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
You're listening to The Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nate Ivey with you, live, local, and vocal. Cincinnati's first daily digital show that focuses on the Black community. And I'm broadcasting live from a secret location somewhere in the Cincinnati area. Only a few know. Good morning to you. Many things to discuss. If you want to share your thoughts, I want to go, enough of me. I've been blathering on enough. I want to go straight to you and get your comments on. First, I want to go to the Chop Shop. We are on Spreaker and TuneIn this morning. Good morning to you. Chuck Rice, sup? Brian Rice, morning. Pat Rice, good morning. Jerica Rice, hola, beautiful Black people, and the others too. Tracy's in the house. She writes hi. Cincy Tigress writes good morning. I mean, I just want to tell you, man, a lot of fantastic people that know what time it is, that's engaged with their communities on various levels. Those are the people that listen to this show. Those are the choppers. These are not just voters. I keep saying this. These are people that influence voters. These are not just voters. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. King Kobla writes, hashtag apartment walls matter. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Brenda writes, good morning, everyone. Sister Iris writes, good morning, great people. Jerica writes, he was charged, but not with anything related to Breonna Taylor. That is correct. Miss Tiffany writes, good morning, all. Brian writes, lost for words. What's going to be next? I think what should be next should be the response from the people. I think good people, it's time to, if you haven't already done so, it's time to stand up and get involved. You know what I'm saying? We should not be so paralyzed by the moment or fear that we don't get active. I'll say it again, join a movement and start a movement. Everybody listening right now has the capacity to start something. Start it. Or maybe you're seeing someone else doing something that you agree with. Join them. Join a movement, start a movement. That's something you can do no matter where you are. Because that's what time it is. It's about organizing. It's about organizing politically, socially, in your particular cities and states and towns, regions, so that you can interact with the system. Because that's what the other side is doing. That's what the forces that have put in place these rules, they got there somehow. It was through the political activation of individuals who just have a different opinion of you. So amplify your opinion, amplify your message in Louisville, because you can't dig up and bring back Breonna Taylor. That's done. But what you do now is what will take us into the future. That's it. That's it. Period. That's easy to say, hard to do. I mean, I see people in Louisville. I know people in Louisville, in Kentucky, who are organized, and that's great. And it's not like you start and then poof, it changes things in one election cycle. You know, I mean, you might be talking about 5, 10, 15, 20-year plans. But they have to start somewhere. Maybe they start today. Maybe they start now. That's what time it is. It's not time for belly aching. It's not time for, to put your head in the sand. It's not time for the, oh, woe is me, we can't do nothing about it. It's not time for that. Now, you might be saying it's time for you to get a passport and leave. That's your right. I respect it. You wouldn't be the first. There's enclaves in Cuba of Black folks that felt like, you know what, this country's never going to give us what we need. We're going to start some enclaves, right? We're going to start our own in other countries, other parts of the world. Okay, that's cool. I feel you. But if you're going to be here and stay here, then, maybe it's time to change here. That's just what time it is. 513-873-7134. I think that Bessie Sunderman in the city of Cincinnati is playing politics. That's what I think. I don't think she really cares about the lives of individuals. I don't. I think it's just all politics. I think she wants to make herself seem like, like she's more pro-police than anybody else. But I'm here to tell you that everybody's pro-police. You got people out there that are saying defund the police, and they're pro-police. They're not saying abolish the police in some cases. In some cases, I've seen that attitude. I think it's the minority. But in some cases, you got people out there saying we don't need a police department. Okay, that's their opinion. But I think the majority of the people are saying let's rethink our priorities in terms of our tax dollars. There's a study that was, there's several law enforcement experts. I read this in the USA Today most recently. This article was published on February 12th, 2019. More cops, is it the answer to fighting crime? Declining numbers of cops nationwide worry big city officials, but experts say there is little evidence that more cops equal less crime. Well, just look at the city of Cincinnati. We don't need a broad analysis. We have more police officers than we've ever had, but we still complain about crime. So wait a minute. Two things cannot be true in this instance. They both can't be true. It cannot be true that we need more police because more police will decrease the crime rate. But we've got more police than we've ever had before, and the crime rate is still up. So obviously there must be some other causal relationships, some other relationships between crime and what we see outside of the number of police that we have. That's just smart. And I know Black Russia tried to turn it into something like, oh, either you're for the police or you're against it. No, you can be for the police, as I am, as many people are, and you can be for the idea of rethinking, how we fund our police. And again, post-COVID, we don't know what the city of Cincinnati is going to ask these various city departments to do. We have no idea. All I know is that I see a lot of belly aching and, and not so good things coming from the mayor as it relates to our budget. And we can cut everything else. The department heads of every other department can be asked to rethink their budget. Why wouldn't we do the same thing with the police? This doesn't make any sense unless we're fear mongering. Okay. And again, for anybody who thinks that means that you don't support police, you're either you're playing games politically, right? Or you just don't know. So maybe we need to educate you more. But I'm here to tell you that those two things are not zero sum. It's not either or 100%. You can be pro-police, and you can also think, hey, there might be a day in the future where we need the police to tighten their budgets. That's not anti-police. But there's people out there that get cachet out of that. That's revenue for them, right? They get something out of trying to paint the conversation that way and having us argue with ourselves about things that we really shouldn't be arguing about. We got better things to argue. City council has better things to argue about rather than a symbolic defund the police motion, in my humble opinion. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. So enough of me. I could go on for days and days. You know that. I am expecting a guest, Ann Flotman, who's running for political office here. Well, running for office here. We may get a call from her this morning. Matter of fact, she might be on the line now. We do have a call on the line. Let's go straight to the phones and say good morning. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate, not the candidate.
Okay. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Oh, man. I just got a couple of things to propose or lay out, suggest.
Okay, go right ahead, brother. And welcome.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. And by the way, man, strength to the fam, 100%. We have to stop acting like the fight is over for Breonna Taylor because a local AG, made an announcement. There was a moment in the Matrix where Neo finally said no. Like, whatever scenario y'all are throwing down, it's just a no. There are other steps that can be taken. And this happens too much, where it's like they make a judgment and then we just say, okay, well, we have to move on, or here's a series of proposals or legislations to make sure it doesn't happen the next time. But just like the grand juries that over and over and over again don't send cop murder cases to trial, also over and over again we allow them to simply say, okay, this was messed up, even though nobody ever got in trouble for it. Here are some measures we're going to do to make sure it doesn't happen the next time. And then it happens again, and then it happens again, and then it happens again. So, for example, you can appeal to higher bodies to demand that that these cases be dealt with differently. You can appeal to the DOJ. You can appeal to higher bodies. So I just want to throw that out there because the Breonna Taylor case is not over. We should be demanding that the proper charges be placed on them and that the DOJ investigate the findings of the grand jury. So that's one thing. The second thing is, I know Kelly, respect Kelly as a human, but I think she's all over the map politically in the stuff that she's raising. first of all, if you do get attacked or raped, the cops are not going to save you. The cops are going to take down your story, write it down, put it in a box, and it'll sit there forever. As we know, when it was exposed how many rape kits and rape cases never get dealt with or addressed by the police. They don't stop crime. And I know you say this all the time, Nathan. I've been saying it for a long time too. Cops don't stop crime. I add another thing to that though. They actually, together with the state, create crime. And we're not enough of us are prepared to face and understand that. They literally treat crime as a revenue item in their budget. They commodify crime. They commodify the harassment of the Black community and poor people. Louisville is an example, a little tiny example where they set a curfew for 9 p.m. to create a situation where they could arrest people. They create crime. That's just on a protest level, but they do it all the time in many ways, all the ordinances, all the little ways that they can get you and put you in a place where you either got to pay a ticket for BS or end up in court to try to fight it, and the charges related to that. That's what they do. That's also what the DOJ found. They simply did nothing to correct it. This idea, now I'm going to go into why I'm not really on the defund campaign tip. But before saying that, 50% of budgets in most cities are dedicated to cops and fire, with cops receiving 33 to 40% of that. So the idea that they need more stuff is outrageous. I will never support any initiatives that call for any further equipment raises or anything for police. They have enough. And it's not an accident that, you roll through the city, all of a sudden you see, damn, they got new SUVs or they got new this or they got new that. They heavily fund the police, and it's because of what they're for. A brother on this in the chat said, well, what the military has so many restrictions, why are the cops able to do what they do? And it's because they have a different birth history. The cops are for domestic repression, where there is no other power other than the ones in control that dictate and regulate. And it's in their interest to keep us suppressed. Whereas soldiers who go out abroad, they are put in a pool with militaries from other imperialist nations like the U.S. So they have to create rules of engagement so that they don't bump heads with each other, so that the oppressors don't bump heads with each other. That's the difference between cops here, who have basically free reign over citizens, people who live here, versus the military, who have restrictions that are made so that, the rich rulers of the world can basically make sure they don't step on each other's toes or minimize that. But the final thing is on this defund and abolish question. There's a difference between somebody like you, Nate, and other people who have a rational opinion about, hey, it doesn't make sense that, police budgets should be lower because they take up half the city's budget, instead of them being called for, mental health issues, there should be some other department or force that's funded to do that. There's people who have that opinion. They just are for a rational lessening of what the cops are responsible for, to minimize the chances that they kill somebody when there should be responding with humanity. But there's an actual group of people who have different motives with the defund campaign. And now, finally, as I've been saying this for a long time, now finally they are publicly advancing this position, which is, it's a counter position to prosecuting and jailing the police. They call for defund. They call for these measures. They call for this various legislations like the Breathe Act and so on that don't have any measures in them calling for arrest, convictions, and so on, because their ideology is part of the prison abolition movement. And that's a divided movement. But the layer that is pushing this are people who believe that no one should go to jail. No one. And the jail should be eliminated. Therefore, police are part of that. If they commit a crime, they should not be jailed. Now, these people are part of the movement, and they're basically on the sneaky tip inserting this whole defund, abolish campaign as an alternative to the demands to prosecute, fire, prosecute, and jail. And you notice the moment that campaign splashed and began to take off, which is basically mothered or fathered or whatever by Movement for Black Lives and Black Lives Matter types, the movement in the streets started to weaken. So I postulate that this is yet another BLM national form of diverting the energies in the streets to something that weakens and deals blows to the fight. So that was a lot, man, but I appreciate you taking the time. And I think we have to keep the demands center stage for the families. Fire cops, prosecute cops, and jail cops. And anything else on this matter is a sidebar issue and should be placed sidebar.
Appreciate the call, Brian. Take it easy, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah, that's Brian Taylor. Always dropping something for us to think of. Again, I feel like I got the best callers, man. The most intelligent callers, and they don't always agree with the host. But what I hope is that we can always agree to disagree. We ain't got to be super disagreeable, but sometimes we hash it out. I appreciate it. So he's not with the defund of police. He said that's been hijacked by a whole different mentality. Very interesting. Again, what's your opinion? 513-873-7134. Some stories to start your morning off. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, talking current events. All right, I'm going to play this for you. This is actually the audio from the decision that came in just yesterday, in case you missed it. I want you to hear this. I should start here in just a second. For folks that might have missed it yesterday, grand jury in Louisville, Kentucky has indicted Detective Brett Hankinson, but he wasn't charged with anything directly to do with the death of Breonna Taylor. He was charged for wanton endangerment because he was a bad aim. He was firing into some other apartments. As I understand it, there were 3 individuals that he endangered their life. The 2 other officers were not charged at all. No charge whatsoever. How do you feel about that? What do you think? 513-873-7134. All right, let's go to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Welcome. Fame.
Yes, that is me. First of all, I didn't really like the way you were talking to the brethren, being dismissive like that. I thought it was a little unnecessary. He was heating, he was cooking like he normally does, giving valuable information, and you were being dismissive of it. I think you're a better guy than that. But I understand, you're having some recent personal, losses and whatnot, so you're not really you right now.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So,
no, I'm me.
But yeah, when the
I said what I meant.
When the brethren calls in,
I said what I meant. I meant what I said. Take it any way you want to.
When the brethren calls in, I expect you to respect it. That's all.
He did get respect.
Sorry about your loss and whatnot. I was describing you to somebody.
Thank you.
I was like,
Appreciate
you find him on YouTube, like, you're a big burly fella. And then they got on she got on the show Monday. It was like, he ain't burly, he blah, blah. I was like, oh, don't go there. That's not, talking about how fine you was.
Oh, like, okay. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate that, sister. Thank
but
you.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe myself as burly either, but okay. Works.
Well, this was back in the day when
back
went
in
on
the
this
day.
miracle
Okay.
weight loss journey.
Yeah.
You know, she just came back to the show. But you do real. I thought you would. I didn't like the dude taking that low blow at Kelly Prather.
Who, Brian?
Talking about it was clear she was speaking in sweeping generalities when she mentioned getting raped. You know, blah blah blah, that type of. You know, she was speaking in general. She wanted the police to have their full funding to be able to apprehend them. I don't think she was thinking that somebody was going to come leaping off a tall building and save her. You know, I thought that was kind of weak of him to do that to her. But as we know, nobody's a bigger opponent of black women than gay black men. But I digress.
I don't think that Brian is gay. If he is, okay. I don't think that has anything to do with his opinion. But I don't believe he's gay. What makes you say that?
I said what I said. I believe that's what I believe he's.
So let me get this straight.
Clear.
So let me get this straight. So you want to check me for quote unquote disrespecting the brethren, and all I did was hold them intellectually and challenge them and give my viewpoint. And then you say that black people disrespect black people more than anybody else, and then you disrespect this black man.
I said women. I said women.
Oh, women.
Nobody's
women
more opponent of black women than gay black men.
Okay.
Please try to pay attention.
No, I'm following. Trust me. I just want to make sure we clarify. I got you.
You know, because okay.
I don't remember Brian being gay. I don't remember him coming out that way. If he is, he is. That's his.
Okay, let me say this. I believe I read that in on Facebook one day. If I'm mistaken, if you find something wrong with being gay, I apologize. Okay. You know, but
and I think there are bigger oppressors of black women than gay black men. It would be white straight men, white Protestant males and females. Historically,
I didn't really call to talk about.
I know,
that.
But you brought it up, so it becomes a conversation piece. That's all. It's all good though. But what else on your mind?
Right. Yeah. Defunding the police. You do realize like things like ShotSpotter would be gone. And you come on your show often and talk, you know, and praise ShotSpotter.
Well, actually, I don't praise ShotSpotter. Listen, you should pay attention. You don't hear me praising ShotSpotter. In fact, what you hear me doing is criticizing ShotSpotter. I don't think it's worth the money.
I've never heard you talk bad about it.
Oh, you ain't been paying attention, bro.
Blah, blah, blah. Huh?
You ain't been paying attention, bro. That's well documented, my opinion on ShotSpotter.
Okay, well, so you want to get rid of things like that?
I just don't know if it's worth the money. It doesn't seem like to be working to me. And it also seems like a further way to surveil primarily black neighborhoods. So I got issues with it on a couple levels.
Okay. Well, I happen to like it. ShotSpotter, I find it to be a useful tool, and I would like to keep it, things like that. You know, I mean, and it's just not politically proper to say something like that if you're a viable candidate, unless you're in that type of Democratic liberal district, an area that's your voting basis. It's just not really the proper thing to say, you know, to defund the police, because no matter what it really means, it's going to be interpreted a certain way. You can't help people's interpretation. You know what I mean?
Right. And you also can't play into people's interpretation. You got to say what you mean and mean what you say. If people's going to run with it and interpret something, then so be it. It's just like me saying I love black people. Some people might interpret that as saying I'm against white people, but I don't give a damn if they take it that way. I'm going to keep saying I love black people either way.
Exactly. But that's why the unofficial nickname of the game is Politricks. There's some foolery involved. You know, sleight of hand.
And we don't need those kind of people in office. We need people that's going to say what they mean what they say, and keep it real.
I mean, you're the political science major. I mean, I'm asking, I'm not being sarcastic. Is that not something it covered? You know, you got to possibly fool people from time to time.
That's not the way I look at it.
That's why I was asking. I didn't take it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I was asking that as a serious question.
If you was looking at political campaigns as individual case studies, I'm sure that you can find a whole bunch of campaigns as case studies where politicians have played politics. We got a guy in the White House right now that continues to do that. But if you're asking me what kind of men and women we need for the next generation of city council members, we don't need those kind of folks. I mean, in the politics, say what you mean what you say, and keep it real with the people. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to apologize for my abrupt exit the other day. I was witnessing a crime and helped two other gentlemen bring it to an end.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's why I had such an abrupt exit. But hey, listen, somebody want to holler at you real quick, okay?
Sure.
It's the alt middle all day, every day.
Who is this?
Recognize. Who? That was Braxton.
Oh, that was Braxton? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What's up?
The alt middle is real. Like we really hang out and discuss policy.
I know you do.
No radio shtick.
I know you do. I know you do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, brother, it's been real. I had fun, but yes, I'm as far as defunding the police, I just don't know if that's really a wise thing to do, B. But y'all take care.
Yeah, I agree with you. But again, as I said, you can be open to the idea that in some future, it could be a near future for Cincinnati, that the police department might be asked to tighten their belt and still support police officers. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. They're not at odds with one another. And if people, can't interpret the truth for themselves, then they're going to be misled on a whole lot of different issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not in a place where you understand that there is a range of opinions inside of that defund the police sort of mantra, then it's not their fault per se. It's really on you to get educated, to understand, the world around you, so you know where people are coming from. And as I said it again, Bessie Sunderman straight playing politics. While she running around here talking about defund the police, what she should be doing is working with members of city council to try and find ways on how we can deal with gun violence. That's what she should be doing. She should be figuring out what we're going to do about affordable housing. That's what she can be doing, or dealing with our poverty, or dealing with the drug addictions that's running rampant in the city of Cincinnati. Not playing politics with the word or the phrase defund the police. I got no respect for it because I see right through it. It's all politics. But unfortunately, this is what the local Republican Party has for you. Nothing but politics. No real substance. Just keeping it real. And I read that David Mann jumped on board, David Amadeus Mann, who showed that he doesn't care about the people when he ran out of that budget meeting. He showed right there he don't give a damn about you. Run around talking about it's the mob. Along with a Jeff Passer, you know what I'm saying, who needs to stop talking about his personal relationships. I don't give a damn if you're polyamorous, or I'm not even sure what another example would be. We don't care. Let me speak for the people. We don't care, Jeff. Get down there and get some equity policy intangibles for the people. That's what you'll be judged on. Next year, when your name is on the ballot, nobody's going to think, you know what? I just love the idea of having a polyamorous city council member. And Christopher, what has he really been doing since he's been on city council, Smitherman? I mean, ever since this Gang of Five thing broke, that's the only thing he talks about. That's the only thing. That's the number one thing he talks about. And it all just seems like it's politically and personality motivated. We deserve better. The time he spent tweeting, talking, commentating, delivering commentary about the Gang of Five text messages, which had no real bearing whatsoever on anybody's life. If he would have put half of that energy into dealing with gun violence as the chair of law and public safety, he might have come up with some real solutions. But he didn't do that. He ain't doing it now. He running around here talking about some Gang of Five. I went to his Twitter page. I don't even know if he responded, but I had to tweet something like, dude, what the hell is you doing, bro? I was offended. As a black man living in Cincinnati, I was offended by what I saw. I'm like, wait a minute. Talk about better things to do with your time. And you're the chair of law and public safety. And this is what you're spending all your time on. I challenge people to go to his Twitter page right now. I haven't been there, but there was a time when everything he tweeted was about some damn Gang of Five. And nobody cares. Outside of this little echo chamber, you know, the 55 KRC, 700 WLW, and then some of his social media minions in a local, you know, Republican Party. And also what's their name? Brian Shrive, who doesn't care about black people, and who else? Coast. Outside of that little echo chamber right there, nobody cares. Nobody gives a damn. Council members are ticked off that public commenters call Sunderman the B word, asking the law department about what council can do. Is that right? Yeah, I think I did see that. Yeah. I think I did hear that yesterday. And I would say that, you know, I would say two things about that. When you step into the arena, you open and you put yourself in a public arena, you're subject to whatever the public gets you. It comes with the territory. If you don't want people to call you out your name and call you the B word and come at you and challenge you, then don't get on city council. That's number one. Number two, I would say that there's a way to to disagree without being disagreeable, without getting personal. Okay. But at the end of the day, I say she brought this on herself. Like I said, go back and read that op-ed piece that she wrote. I think it was her first op-ed piece in a sense. This is her first introduction, right, to the larger community in terms of doing media and representing herself. And she was straight up playing politics and dancing on the graves of dead black people, dead gun violence victims, dancing around talking about I'm pro-police. That's essentially what she was doing. That's the way I took it. And so when you come across like that, and at a time in a moment of crisis, when all this stuff is going on, you run around playing games with fund the police and all this kind of stuff, you're going to get that work. It comes with it. I don't have no tears. It wouldn't matter who was on city council. Now, I wouldn't necessarily do it. But if you don't like it, then get off council. Simple as that. If you don't want people talking about you, get off council. Okay, let me see if I got a response. This guy's still talking about the Gang of Five. What a waste. You talk about a waste of a city council seat. What a complete waste. And I put it on there. I was like, well, what have you done? Not really expecting to get a response from Mr. Smitherman. And then Black Russia jumps on there playing defense. Talking about, well, with a link. Well, people can go here and look at what this councilman done. You go there. It doesn't tell you anything directly. I want to know from the council person who's supposed to represent me. I live in Cincinnati. I pay tax in Cincinnati. I want to know, what are you doing? What have you been doing with your time other than talking about some stuff that nobody really cares about? If Christopher Smitherman really cared about that $160,000 that he wants the Gang of Five to pay back, that he should have told his buddy Brian Shrive not to do what you knew he was going to do. This is what they do at Coast. They try to find some little minor detail, some little small little wrinkle where the city was wrong, and then they hit the city up for the pockets. You knew what Brian Shrive was all about. You could have told him, listen, man, this ain't really nothing, and you're going to cost the city $176,000. Don't do that, Brian. The taxpayers don't deserve that. But you didn't do that, Christopher Smitherman. You said go do the dumb-ish because you thought it was going to help you back when you was thinking about running for mayor against P.G. Sittenfield. And then, since on some levels you're much more aligned with the Republican Party, that fits their grand designs to try to throw some ish on the game for the majority Democrats that's on city council. That's what it was. Facts. No feelings, facts. So to Christopher Smitherman, if you really cared about $176,000, then you should have told your buddy to stand down. Brian Shrive is your buddy, isn't it? That's your boo. Your little man crush that gets played out on Twitter. I see it all the time. It's just sickening. It really is. Take your man crush Wednesday or man crush Thursday somewhere else, and let's get some people on city council for goodness sake, for all of our sake, that really wants to create something so we can build the Cincinnati that we deserve. We deserve it. You deserve a better Cincinnati. We're never going to get a better Cincinnati with people bringing this kind of nonsense to city council. I'm just telling you, it's never going to happen. And people may like that or don't like that, or, I mean, it's just my opinion. I don't have to be right, but I don't have to be wrong either. Just a bunch of crap, quite honestly. Kent writes, what's did the FBI evidence say? Ask the grand jury, they ruled the way they did. Okay. Lemmy writes, the attorney represented Ray Tensing is now representing the police officer in Louisville that got the charge. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's people that get paid off of black pain and suffering and tragedy. You know what I'm saying? They make a name for themselves like, hey, I got this guy off. So now, if you're an officer, I mean, just think about it. If I'm a Louisville officer and I'm in that situation with Breonna Taylor, I want representation that's been successful in a similar situation. So it makes sense. Makes sense. You know, it is what it is. Brian Taylor writes, the perception is that we all live on some Juice or New Jack City type ish. Right. That's the perception with Breonna Taylor, that every black person is on some New Jack City, is on some, you know, somebody or somehow you're making money off drugs. And what I would tell you is that even if Breonna Taylor was dealing drugs, she still didn't deserve that. Even if they had found drugs in the home, she still didn't deserve it. I mean, you know, this idea that because you get some low, like if you got to kill some innocent people to get a low-level drug dealer off the streets, low-level dope dealer, that the ends justify the means, I don't believe it. You out here like you breaking the door of Pablo Escobar. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like the dope kingpin of North America. Just saying, we need to rethink all of that. But some people have been confused to believe that if they find, like, if you break even the most minor law, that no matter what law enforcement does to you, you had it coming, buddy. Obstruction of justice. All you did was say, well, I'm under arrest more times than the officer had tolerance for. And they say, obstruction of justice. And then they can mace you, break your arm, slam you to the ground because you obstructed justice. And all you did was say, what did I do? What did I do? Or what did I do 3 times? And the third time was beyond the officer's limit because the officer got a dope problem or about to get divorced or just generally is having a bad day. So that justifies whatever. What? People go for that. It's like, well, he told you to put your hands behind your back, so he broke your face by slamming you to the concrete. You should have said no. You should have said, I'm out. Wait a minute. Some of us, and I'm talking some black people, have been completely brainwashed. Completely brainwashed. I've seen people on Twitter, like Fame, calling you out, Fame, because that's what I saw. Blaming Breonna Taylor. I saw this from Jason Whitlock, a.k.a. Jason Whitless, who's a big-time sports commentator or whatever, talking about Breonna Taylor is to blame for what happened to her because of her associations. So what does that mean? That if in this country, if you had an association with somebody in the past, they was doing dirt, they was committing crimes, you liked them. You stopped messing with them. But because that's somewhere on some paper, somewhere in history, that justifies the police from breaking down your door in the middle of the night, right? Not really properly identifying themselves because, in my opinion, I don't have no evidence. It's just my straight opinion. I don't believe that a black man in modern day America is going to open fire on police who identify themselves. Has it happened? Sure. Those people are mentally ill. They got problems. But they're trying to make it seem like everyday black professionals, because Breonna Taylor was a black professional. Now, by the way, she had a job and she had a serious job. You know, what was she, an EMS, tech? I mean, come on, you don't get those jobs just walking in. You got to have a sterling record. So she's got a sterling record, nothing on her record. It's spotless. But because she had a boyfriend who called her a few times, or maybe she bailed him out in the past, she is the bride of the dope kingpin of Louisville. Again, I don't believe it. I don't believe that they identified themselves. And if they did, I don't believe that the brother heard them. Because what sane, rational black man is going to open fire on police officers? We already know how that ends. It ends like it did for Breonna Taylor. They're going to fire back. Who's going to do that? But for me to believe that, you would have to believe that everybody is criminal. See, that's the reason why I don't like that Bruce Hoffbauer story. Bruce Hoffbauer, white male Republican, is running for Hamilton County Sheriff right now. And I've heard this story. I just don't buy it. Back in the 90s, he killed and shot an unarmed man. Unarmed man. And to this day, his story is, well, he was displaying superhuman strength. He was breaking windows with his bare hand. He had no pain threshold. All that suicide by cop is just another rationale that police can use when they kill one of us who has no weapon, and they can use it and justify it. I don't like it. I don't like none of that. Because if they can use it on them, family, they can use it on you. Every black man, woman, and child, really every person, it's really bigger than just black people. Every citizen of Louisville can get what Breonna Taylor got. You can get it too. To white folks that live in Kentucky, you can get that work too. I just saw a video of a white dude getting, they slammed the mayonnaise off of his ass. You know what I'm saying? They slammed the quarters out of him. And from what I saw in the video, he just did a little bit of nothing. I'm like, is it that serious? They slammed the sauce off of him. I'm telling you, anybody can get it when it comes to law enforcement. Don't think that because your skin privilege, your skin color is going to necessarily always protect you. That ain't true. You can get it too. And just like Breonna Taylor didn't get any justice in terms of criminal charges, you ain't going to get no justice either. I'm just telling you. Anybody can get it. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Let me put myself on mute. So I just got one question. It's Donnie B.
Hey, Donnie.
For Fame and all the others, good morning, that are like, hey, Breonna Taylor, brought it on herself because she was a drug dealer. I'm 100% with you. Let's assume that she was the crack dealer, not the ex-boyfriend or what have you. We as African Americans have to learn not to buy into white people's, hypocrisy. So the claim with the no-knock warrants is that, oh my God, no-knock warrants make it safe for police to go and apprehend well-known drug suspects. Because what? It's unclear. Because I'm with you, Nate. I feel like if I'm a drug dealer in a trap house with a Glock and I'm counting my money, I'm, bagging up my drugs, and all of a sudden somebody busts in my apartment, I'm probably going to pick up the 9mm and start shooting because I'm going to think I'm being robbed. But if you say police and you identify yourself as police, then I might try to run and flush the drugs down the toilet. But I don't think I'm going to be on some Scarface, oh my God, anybody can do it. That's not what people do. I think there's a intentional fake misperception or narrative that's created by the police when they go to court to get these no-knock warrants. And all African American, drug dealers have zero regard for police, and we all want to be suicide by cop. My issue for the people like Shane that want to attack Breonna Taylor is, but how do you explain the cases like Dylan Storm Roof, where you go into a church and you shoot up and kill 9 people? The police, when they realize it's you, they didn't go to court and say, oh my God, we're in fear for our life. We want a no-knock warrant and permission to be able to go to Dylan Roof's house in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. with a whole SWAT team to apprehend him because he's dangerous. They gently pull this dude over on the side of the road and bring him in. So who's more dangerous? Breonna Taylor, who was allegedly using the mail system to accept drugs for her ex-boyfriend? Or Dylan Roof, who was a 20-year-old that walked in with an AR-15 and shot up a church and killed 9 people, but he gets to be escorted in and apprehended on the highway, and there was no no-knock warrant issued for him. So I'm like saying, stop. I love you, but stop.
Like, yeah, it don't make sense.
That's all I got.
Yep, that's all I need. Hey, Donnie, thanks for the call. You can check out the Is It Just Me podcast on Fridays, right on this Facebook page I'm on right now, Sin Digital Media at 12:30 p.m. All right? And you can check out the Is It Just Me podcast hosted by Donnie B. All right? Check it out. You're going to love it. That's 12:30 on Friday. So, yeah, these low little drug dealers ain't no real problem. It's the big and mid-regional drug dealers that we should say that for. Come on, man. What you think was going to happen? They found no drugs, no nothing, no money. Is it that serious? It just seems like sometimes when it comes to black neighborhoods, the police want to sort of exercise the fullest amount of authority. It's almost like it's a training ground. It's like they treat our neighborhoods like training grounds. It's like there might be a lot of things you can do. Doesn't mean you should do them. You know what I'm saying? As adults, you might have a lot of influence and whatever. There's a lot of things you can do. Doesn't mean you should do it. Yeah, you can get a no-knock warrant and bust in here in the middle of the night, but doesn't mean you should do it. It seems like in our neighborhoods with us, some of these officers want to go to training school. It's training day. You know, they want to push it to the fullest extent of the law, right? Because I can. But it doesn't mean that you should. It doesn't mean that you should, in my opinion. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. Kelly writes, preach, Nathan. Hey, Jasmine, how you doing? Good to see you. Ebony writes, call they asses out. They always send a blackface to deliver their message. Yep, Smitherman is a trashy politician at best and a complete sellout at worst. That brother, man, remember what he used to be? Remember what he used to be? He was that dude telling people what time it was. And then I think he lost an election or something like that. I don't know what happened, man. I think what happened is, you know, people have designs for higher power and they start to put these plans in place. Like I said, I awarded last year, Christopher Smitherman for this show won the Lord Peter Baelish Award for local politicians. And if you ever watched the show Game of Thrones, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it was a tough race, but he won. Anthony writes, Chris has spent his time kissing and making money for his brother. Pastor is a buck dancer too. It just gets old. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say pastor's a buck dancer. And I'm not going that far. My critique is just the nonsense I see on social media and the lack of tangibles I'm seeing coming from the office. I still stand by what I said. I said it from the beginning. I stand by this, that I think that brother, that councilman, has the potential to do great things and deliver great things for our community. We just need to see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about brother pastor. We just need to see it. And Christopher Smitherman, it seems, has made his choice, just like Bessie Sunderman. He's made his choice. I mean, these tweets, this incessant talking about Gang of Five, like, bro, if you really cared about costing us money, Brian Shrive is your boy. You tight with Coast. All you had to do was tell him like the sizzle ain't worth the steak. That's all you had to do. All you had to do was say, hey, B, Brian, I know what you're trying to. Brian won't come on this show because I do Gotcha Radio. He said as much. And hey, Brian, this sizzle isn't worth the steak. Sure, it'll get headlines and things like that, but you're going to end up costing the taxpayers lots of money. Don't do that. But Christopher Smitherman didn't do that. He was probably cheerleading literally with pom-poms like, yes, 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 right? Because like I told you, at that point, he was thinking about, and maybe he might still, running for mayor against P.G. Sittenfield. And he felt like, oh, this will be some dirt that I can use against him and the Democrat Party. He can get his bones in with the local Hamilton County Republican Party. Don't forget, Alex Triantafilou said in a tweet that, you know, if Chris wasn't independent, he would get a Republican endorsement. So that tells you they thick. They thick. He's made his choices. I'm just calling it out. It's transparent. Just go to his Twitter page right now and tell me what you see. You tell me what you see. You go back to his Twitter page for like the last, if you feel like doing that. And again, you got better things to do than go back through this man's Twitter page. But this is what I do. Okay. And you go back a year or two and tell me the majority of what he tweets about. He ain't tweeting about no legislative accomplishments because I don't see a lot of them. What are your policy accomplishments, Mr. Smitherman? Okay. Not running 90,000 miles of BS about some stuff that for real Cincinnatians every day, do you really care about that? I mean, it was salacious. It was interesting to get that insight into city council. I mean, you gave us a sizzle, but the steak, all it did was cost us for $176,000. That's it. And for what? Like, all those people involved, most of them are term limited out anyway. The only person that can run for re-election at this point is only one person left. All the rest are either Tamai DeMart is not there anymore, and all the other people, the so-called Gang of Five, are term limited out. So what's the point? Why am I the only person making this point in Cincinnati media? What's the point? Greg Lassman, and he wasn't even really a part of it. So all the people involved can't even run again. What is the point, sir? 90,000 miles of dumbish, playing political games, Lord Peter Baelish, chaos is a ladder, all this kind of nonsense. I'm just the one to tell you because nobody else is. Well, they might pick up on this now and say, you know what, Nate's making some great points. I'm going to say the same thing. But that's the truth. That is the truth. Unvarnished, unflinching, tearless, fearless. That is the truth. It's a damn shame. And we don't need that as a county commissioner. Because you can do the same thing there. Yeah, I've heard he wants to run for county commissioner. For what? So you can be talking about the Gang of Five? For what? We'll have to wait and see what is if in fact he actually does that. Because that's the rumor that Christopher Smith is going to run for commissioner. Who? For who? To do what? To talk about the Gang of Five on Twitter every damn day? I mean, we got better things to do. I'm just being honest with you. And Bessie Sunderman, you can take her too. Because so far, I don't see it. This old Law and Order queen routine that she's doing. I'm the queen of law and order, as if we don't all value the police. That's one of the biggest misnomers about the black community. That's one of the biggest misnomer about, Black Lives Matter, is that you don't support the police. It's just a lie. Don't believe that. It's a lie. It's a straight up lie, straight up fear mongering. It's nothing more than division. So you don't have the real conversation about the priorities of the budget. So you don't have a conversation about police reforms. You end up talking about nonsense. I support the police. No, you don't support the police. I do support the police. No, you don't support. I mean, come on now. That's child's play. We're grown folks. We are grown folks. Man, Kelly writes, he was placed on council to help developers get unjustly enriched. I think she made that point about Mr. Smitherman. I've said it time and time again, black leaders has failed us. Not all black leaders, but some people. We got some people on council that's been playing games for 2 years now. They've been running around playing games, playing politics, trying to make us, pay attention to their nonsense and trying to legitimize a whole lot of political schemes and games. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Democrats don't play political games. We know that. I'm just talking about this right here, right now. That's all I'm saying. Enough with the BS, should I say. You know what I'm saying? It'll be refreshing to get new people on city council because then the ammunition to talk about the Gang of Five won't be there anymore. Again, all those people are term limited. Who cares? It's over. What difference does it make? I don't see it. Seems like a waste of time. Was there audio of Betsy being called out? If so, please play. Yeah, there is audio of Betsy being called out. Let me see if I can get this real quick. There is audio. And again, I haven't edited any of this, so you may hear some extreme language still on this. Let me see if I can pipe this in. Give me 1 second here.
All right, welcome to today's citizen input session of City Council.
Let me see. I didn't.
Armored cars with maybe they'll start buying literal tanks because
I'm literally just throwing a dart, right? I haven't edited this. I'm just kind of jumping in.
Our public services, and this time, you're not going to get away with it as easily. This city is changing. The culture of what people are going to put up with is changing. And if I'm proof of anything, it's that we are not going to back down and be intimidated.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker is Emily Herman, followed by Sarah Malas.
Hi, my name's Emily Herman. I'm a resident of the city of Cincinnati, and I'm a student at the University of Cincinnati. I'm here to voice my opposition to Betsy Sunderman's motions to oppose defunding the police and flying CPD flags outside of City Hall. City Council has seen thousands of citizens of this city protesting for the past few months against police brutality and heard us voice these opinions at many city council meetings. This is not ignorance, this is blatant disregards for the wants and needs of your constituents, and I'm excited to vote out Betsy Sunderman and whoever else supports these motions. Thank you.
I'm excited to vote her out. Okay.
Then after her, Makia Rivers.
Oh, it got deep.
Hello, my name is Sarah Malice. I'm here today as a voting citizen of Cincinnati and a student at the University of Cincinnati to voice my opposition to the two motions filed by Betsy Sunderman. I'm excited to vote out Betsy Sunderman and anybody who supports these two motions. Thank you.
The next speaker is Stefan M. Pryor.
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
I'm sorry, Micaiah. Did I get ahead of myself? I apologize.
I believe Stefan Pryor is Aaron Pryor's son. And he is very vocal on city council. I love it.
Micaiah Rivers. I'm a Cincinnati resident and a student of the University of Cincinnati. I'm here today to voice my opposition to the Councilman Betty Sunderman's motions to not defund the police and fly CPD flags outside of City Hall. The funds absolutely should be taken away from law enforcement and should be allotted to social alternatives such as education for the public school systems, Social Security, and housing for all. I will be voting out Betsy Sunderman and anyone else who votes in favor of these motions. To vote in favor of these motions would be to look me in the face and tell me that my life doesn't matter, that my brother's life doesn't matter, that my mother's life doesn't matter, and that Black lives don't matter. But council members, Black lives do matter.
All right. Now it's Stefan M. Pryor. Followed by Iris Rowley.
Oh, okay. Good.
Doing all right?
Oh boy, this could be interesting.
Don't start that time yet, Mayor Cranley. All right. People on TV, y'all need to start coming down here because it's very important. You got your city officials down here doing what they want to do. If it weren't for me, y'all wouldn't be seeing this on TV. All right? That was a commercial break. Let's get to business. This SID program, SID, y'all better not give up no $750,000 for 4 years. That's $3 million. Y'all starting off another 3CDC. Y'all finna put this into an ordinance already. Y'all just wasting money. If you're gonna give out taxpayer dollars, make sure 3CDC goes south over the Rhine then. Y'all giving up $750,000 for 4 years. That ain't no it's rich people money, Greg Lamson, but it's taxpayer dollars they getting from y'all. So y'all fronting them some money to start a business off. They're gonna start charging the residents, condo owners, and business owners for graffiti removal, snow removal, and all this. Y'all wrong for that. Y'all try to hide that too, Betsy. I can tell off that smirk on your face. But anyway, the SID program, y'all need to don't give them no money. Y'all got all the Port Authority got money, 3CDC got money. Let them chip in and do that. Y'all shouldn't be doing that. An ordinance, that's $3 million y'all giving up. I'm going to leave y'all with something. We can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and rights to exist.
Amen to
Mayor
that.
Cranley, you wasn't here last week. I say, who Mayor Cranley remind me of? What him and George Wallace have in common? Segregation then, segregation today, segregation forever up under Cranley administration.
Segregation?
You can't have that. You got to do better. If you know better, you'll do better. And Betsy, you better vote down off that. Change your mind, all right? I approve that message on TV.
Thank you.
Segregation. Okay. I think the brother dropped a G on that one, but we understand where we coming from. We ain't gonna focus on it.
Good afternoon. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Great. My name is Iris Rowley, and of course all of you all know, but I want to thank those who came down and spoke in service to Black lives, because our lives do matter. And I also want to say to the family of Breonna Taylor, we just learned the decision. So it would be great if our legislators would not try to smash our face in the indestructible and incomprehensible lives that we have to live every single day. I am so upset. I'm trying to stick to my script here, Betsy. But I want to encourage the council to vote no on both of them, not just because of this ridiculous motion, both of them, but you told a lie on me the last time I was here. And I want to check you about that.
Uh-oh.
But I'm here today to ask you to vote no. And as I read the motion, as always we see, most of you will cite the collaborative agreement, but let's not forget why we have it. We have it because 15 unarmed Black men were murdered in the city of Cincinnati. I said it then, and I'll say it today. Yes, Ms. Sundin, you are correct. We do have the collaborative, but we certainly still have continued issues. You want to cite that 8 Can't Wait gave it glowing? That's because of the first wave of the collaborative. It's nothing that has to do it right now. That was 18 years ago. You can't claim that. That was our work. That came from the Black community. That came after Roger Owensby Jr. was murdered. You don't get to claim that. But the same organization, Nix to Six, cites that the current contract, police union contract, has 4 things that needs to be removed. Did you know that, Betsy? Did you happen to read the 3 reports from Saul Green and his team? Did you read that we still have issues? Betsy, had you asked me, I would have told you that Black folks are still being arrested, detained, and incarcerated at a disproportionate amount than non-Black people in the city of Cincinnati. While we have the collaborative agreement, we're still waiting on the numbers to find out why 1,500 out of 2,000 in the year 2019 were arrested. Betsy, did you read the article that the city was sued and the county was sued on a murder case? Now that we have to go back and look at from several years, look at
Mrs.
a murder
Rowley,
case.
your time is up. Thank you very much.
This is ridiculous.
If
and
we
vote
could,
no.
We need
That's Sister Iris.
Please.
And she blesses us with her flow here on the show.
Ask that this group leave so we can make room for the next group.
If you're just tuning in, I'm playing some of the audio from public comments yesterday. It was tense, and I love it. It should be tense. Black folks, white folks, new faces that are familiar to us, new voices, voices that are not so familiar to us, right? Emerging voices, all going to city council and letting that body know how they feel. I've been talking about this Bessie Sunderman thing for a while. I'm glad to hear other people is on top of it. They already see it. You playing games with people's lives just so you could try to make yourself to be some Law and Order princess, or you're the queen of Law and Order. And maybe it's her background as a prosecutor. Was she a magistrate, I believe, coming out of, Joe Dieter's office? Maybe that's what we should expect. That's why we need new leadership in the prosecutor's office. That's why the Hamilton County prosecutor's race matters. That's a leadership position. That cultivates mentalities, right? That cultivates the next generation of leadership. Joe Dieters has an influence that's far more impactful than we even talk about. That's why the Hamilton County sheriff race matters. It matters who the top top law enforcement official in Hamilton County is. You know what I'm saying? There is a clear-cut choice in all of these races. In all of these races, it's the same. It's the old Cincinnati good old boys mentality. Shut up, do as we say, not as we do. We gonna run this the way we want to, right? Law and order, fake law and order, which really means when you break the rules, then we have the decision. We got a prerogative to throw the book at you. And when our friends and family break the rules, they don't get no charges. Clear-cut choices in every one of those races I mentioned. Every single race. Clear-cut choices. Clear-cut choices. And at the top of the ticket, the president is talking about how he doesn't have to leave the office. He's talking about how we shouldn't vote the ballot. We shouldn't count the ballots. Everything's a Democrat plot. Oh, the Democrats, they created COVID-19 that forces people to now want to vote by mail. And these people are going to vote me out, not because of my actions and judging me by the way that I've been the leader for the last 3 years. Oh, no, it's just a Democrat hoax and plot. I'm going to tell you this for real, family. If you think for 1 second that Donald Trump is joking, then you have been living under a rock. You don't know what you're dealing with. Donald Trump is not Barack Obama, and Donald Trump is not the former Republican presidents that came before him. He doesn't care. If you know anything about his history, he don't care about lawsuits. He don't care about investigations. It's just part of the game for him. This is part of the game. Some more information came out about Mueller, and now we understand why the Mueller investigation didn't really give us the result that we were looking for. It's because Donald Trump and his influence got involved and even had an impact on how Mueller was doing his investigation. Essentially, he punked Mueller out. Mueller is a good guy. Oh, FBI, I'm going to do it by the book. If you would do it by the book, good guy who doesn't want to break the rules, and your opponent don't give a damn about the rule book, you always gonna lose every single time. Every single time you're gonna lose. You got two adversaries. One is trying to play it by the book. The other will burn the book in front of you. Then the person that's willing to go the furthest is always going to win. That's why Donald Trump keeps winning. Keeps winning. Let me see here. More public comment here. See if I can pull this back in.
People representing me have cared so little about what the people who elect them have to say. In May, you had over 400 of your constituents tell you the current police system is not working and that the solution to violent crime is not more violent crime perpetuated by the police. If you're scared to defund the police because you think it will result in a rise of crime, the people in this city demand that you do your research. Reach out to organizers who have successfully implemented alternative.
Yeah, I just want to play a little bit. I don't want to bore you to death with this. You can always go to City Cable right now. They got the audio up. It usually takes a day or two for them to get the video up and you can watch it. When it's live, you can watch the video stream live. And then the audio is usually available within 24 hours. And then the video is usually available within like 48 hours or something like that. And you can watch it for yourself. And this is all public, in the public domain. So I want to play a little bit of it because somebody asked about some of the comments that were being said. But as I look at the time here, I can see that we're over our time, family. I got to make that move. Again, I love being here with you. I'll be back with you and better than ever, hopefully anyway, tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. I'm at 7:30 a.m. live from Sin Digital Media on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, that's a great way to check it out. On YouTube, Nathan Ivey Show, you can check it out there. And we'll have a Sin Digital Media YouTube page up very, very shortly. And more shows and more things to follow. Okay, keep your eyes on CDM. Check out this show. Now, listen, if you like this show, you like this content, please share. All right, please share. And don't forget, tomorrow at 12:30 p.m., the Is It Just Me podcast with Donnie B. I'm sure she'll be talking about Breonna Taylor as well. She's got Jennifer Branch coming on, who's running for judge, and she's getting more into interviews with local political folks and also talking about current events from a very unique perspective, a Black female lawyer. So check that out. If you miss it, it'll be up on our page on Facebook, CDM, Sin Digital Media, a new voice in Cincinnati. Thank you for being here, everybody. I really appreciate it. Hold on.
Thank you.
Let me see if I can glean something here.
The next speaker is Michael Wright on Zoom.
I love the fact they take Zoom input. I hope they keep that.
Yes.
Okay.
Post-COVID.
Good afternoon. I'm joining today to speak against both of Betsy Sunderman's motions as well as to speak in favor of Chris Spielbach's motion to remove no-knock warrants from CPD's procedure. First, Betsy Sunderman wants the city to fly some flags in honor of a religious event. City buildings and property are not meant for council members to decorate for whatever religious ceremony they've chosen to take part in. If the church wants to fly those flags, then by all means, but it is not the city's place to take part in a non-inclusive religious ceremony. Second, Betsy Sunderman wants council to agree today that you all, quote, do not support the movement to defund the Cincinnati police. I ask you, what does that even mean? Do you know? Nowhere in this motion have you defined the movement that you are supposedly against. How can you not support something that you haven't even defined? The phrase defund the police means many things to many people. This is a meaningless and partisan motion. What fiscal conservative or anyone who cares about how government spends its money looks at the city's largest department that takes up more than 36% of the budget and then wants to give away negotiating power by passing such a motion? Third, I support Chris Spielbach's motion to ban no-knock warrants in Cincinnati. It's draconian, unethical, and does more harm than good. See Breonna Taylor. In conclusion, I urge you to defund the police, demilitarize the police, ban tear gas, ban pepper balls, ban bean bags, especially since Sergeant Daniel Carter doesn't seem to know the difference between live shotgun rounds and bean bags. But per usual for CPD, he went unpunished for that. Also ban the electric shock gloves you just accepted from Compliant Technologies without any report on how CPD would use them. You all love reports unless it's a weapon for the police, then it gives it to them, no questions asked. Demilitarize the police, defund the police, and mask the police. It's a damn pandemic. Thank you.
Ooh, great flows. Listen, family, I'm going to tell you this. We need to keep the door open for our white allies. I'm going to tell you again, I mean, it's always been this way, but we tend not to focus on these things as black folks. There have been white people that have died for the cause and have been willing to die for the cause since the beginning. Maybe not the numbers that we thought we should have seen, maybe not always showing up, but you know, what I've seen here locally is I see a lot of young white folks, and what's coming out of their mouth makes a lot of sense. And we should create spaces for them to be a part of this, right? Again, I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, Taiwanese. I don't care. You can be Russian. As long as you on the same side as I am, when it comes to some of these issues, then we can rock. Then we can rock together, period. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I see a lot of this. You know, in some cases, I see even more white folks down here, and what's coming out of their mouth directly benefits black people. Let's not forget them as we build our movements and we deliver our flows and our commentaries, because they are out there. All right, one last call, and then I got to get out of here. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show. Yo, good morning. Okay, maybe that's another kind of call. I'm not sure what that's all about. But listen, family, I got to make a move. It's 10 minutes after 10. I got to roll out of here. Thank you for being here. I know I didn't get to all of the comments today. It was a very, very busy show, and I had a lot to say today, and I want to make sure we got it all in. Please like and in particular share this particular show if you like this content, and I appreciate you in advance. Have an excellent rest of your day. And remember our motto, winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. I'm out.